Good evening and welcome to the Variable Y Minute. I'm your host of Variable Y. I thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. It's been a little bit of time before I was in front of you guys. So, full disclosure, on Friday, I know I was supposed to give you guys what you've been asking for, what you've been clamoring for, what the streets have needed, me playing video games, but I couldn't find the game. And I thought I was going to I thought I was going to come up here and give this scathing indictment to all of us who have children to say, hey, you ever had your kids misplace something that was not theirs? Don't you really just hate them for that? But it actually turns out that it wasn't anything my kids did. It was actually me misplacing it. So instead of me coming out here and lying on them, I figured, you know what? I would just put that over to the back burner. So, therefore, now I had to come in front of you guys. I had to think of a totally different thing to do to come in front of you guys and bring you guys something to talk about. And of course, we've been without sports now going on, I believe we're in week 2.5 or week 3 since NBA stopped, since Cactus League baseball, Grapefruit League baseball, preseason baseball has stopped, since all these other things have stopped. But you know the one thing that hasn't stopped? Off-season football. And I know, I told you guys, I'm not the guy who's going to sit up here and talk all-season football when we got all these other sports to talk about. We got basketball, we got preseason baseball, we got hockey, we got, hell, MMA, boxing, wrestling. We got all this stuff to talk about. Well, we ain't got nothing else to talk about, so we about to talk about some preseason football. We about to talk about some off-season football, doggone it, because we ain't got nothing else to talk about. So, with that being said, I've got a couple of guys, 3 guys to be exact, that I want to reach out to you and see what you all think about these guys. So, we've got Jameis Winston, who just got replaced over in Tampa Bay by Tom Brady. We've got Cam Newton, who just today got released by the Carolina Panthers. And we have Tua Tagovailoa, who just last night or early this morning dropped a video of him throwing the football. And I want to know from you guys, from today going forward, 2020 going forward, who's going to have the best career? Now, we can say, well, I mean, that don't make no sense, Variable, because Cam's been in the league since 2011. He was an MVP and he took his team to a Super Bowl. And then some of you say, well, that don't make no sense, Variable, because Jameis Winston, he's played 5 years. He threw 30 interceptions last year, but I think his ceiling is actually way higher than where he was. He just got LASIK surgery, and if he gets with the right coaching staff, he'll be much better. I mean, I don't think Dirk Cutter was good for him. I don't think Lovie Smith was good for him, and he only had 1 year, Bruce Arians. And then there's some of you who's like, Variable, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Like this Tua, if he gets to the right location, he can be great. Well, that's the reason why I'm talking about these guys now, because I think all 3 of them have this very unique situation that they're in. Like we said, Cam just got cut from Carolina. So that means he can go anywhere. And he could probably take a minimum contract and maybe beat somebody out for a starting job. And you got Jameis Winston. This is his 5th year in the league. So that means that would make him 25. And yeah, he's thrown a lot of interceptions. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of interceptions. He threw 30 last season. But is it crazy to think that if he cuts down on the interceptions, if he just cut down half of his interceptions, if he threw like 33 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, he would be a Pro Bowl quarterback. And then you got this kid, Tua Tagovailoa, who we all saw in the national championship, the college football playoff national championship game, where he came in and he substituted for Jalen Hurts and he beat Georgia. And then the year after that, he was pretty good until he got to the national championship game again, and then got dusted by Clemson. And this year, Alabama didn't even make the playoff, but he was still good, and he got hurt, so that's why. But he was good even until he got hurt. So I'm going to ask a question. Who do you guys think is going to have the better career this year going forward? So let's say Cam gets on a team. Let's just throw out a random team who needs a quarterback. I don't know, Jacksonville. Let's say Cam gets on Jacksonville, guides them to what you say. He's got 5 years left. Guides them to 3 AFC Championship games, 1 Super Bowl. Let's just throw that out there, right? So you got that, and then we got Jameis out there. So let's say Jameis goes and he's a backup in, and I don't know. I'm just throwing this stuff off the top of my head, guys. Let's say he goes and he's a backup in, you know what? For craps and giggles, let's just say he's a backup in San Francisco. And Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, and then Jameis comes in and he runs that Kyle Shanahan offense to a T. And we all know what Kyle Shanahan can do with an offense and with a quarterback. So then that's 5 more years of Jameis. And let's say Jameis gets to 2 Super Bowls and he beats Cam in one of those, right? So then let's say that Tua Tagovailoa goes to, let's say Detroit. Let's say Detroit doesn't trade down. Let's say Detroit stays at pick number 3 and they get Tua, right? And they decide to sit him. They let Matthew Stafford play out the rest of this year, and then he plays every year after that. And let's say he guides the Lions to a playoff win. Y'all know they haven't had a playoff win since 1992. They haven't had a playoff win since January 4th, 1992. And I know that very well because that is a very, very special day to me because that was the day my little sister was born. And I remember being at the hospital when they won that game. Shout out to my little sister. So, and that's what I'm asking when I say, so who's going to have the better career? So let me know what you guys think. Of course, I think we all can say it really depends on where they go. But I think this is also a question. The question I'm mostly asking is, who do you believe in? You know, who do you think can do, not the impossible, but who do you think can have a better second half of their football playing career? Because we got to think about it, even with Tua, like everybody's saying, yo, I mean, he's had injuries every single year. He's had operations on both ankles and he had a hip operation. And then, you know, they've already thrown Jameis Winston out with the bathwater and they already did the same thing with Cam. And I think that there's plenty of football left in all 3 of these young men. So I want to know from you guys, who do you guys think can have the better season? Now, if you're asking me, which some of you probably are, I think it may be Jameis. I don't know why. There's something about this guy I'm not willing to give up on just yet. Like there's something about this kid that says to me that he is capable of having a monster career. If he just cuts down on the turnovers, he's capable of being one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this league. And I'm just not willing to give up on that just yet. So if you were to ask me, I would say Jameis. He's got more time left than Cam, and he's more proven than Tua. So I think that's what's gonna be the one. That would be my answer. So now I want to know what you guys think. Like, tell me what you think. I could be wrong. You could tell me, Variable, you wrong as hell. And that's fine. I just want to know what you guys think. So you know how to do it. You know where to get me. You know how to hit me up. You're watching me right now on YouTube at the Variable Y Minute. You know you can catch me over on Instagram at the Variable Y. And you can catch me over on Twitter at variable_Y. My bad. You know I don't remember it. But yeah, send me your answers and let me know what you think. And we can go from there. And then we'll be back tomorrow with hopefully something going on in the world of sports that we can talk about. If not, again, I found the game, so I'm going to play the game, so maybe we can talk about that. But until then, people, I know we are all going through some things right now. I know most of us are of the considerate phase, and I appreciate that. So most of us just be considerate, keep your 6 feet. If you got your mask, wear your mask. If you're feeling sick, stay your butt home. Try not to go out to the beaches for spring break. Try not to do anything else that's just absurdly insane. And we'll get through this, and hopefully we'll have our sports back in a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months at the most. And then we can really have something to talk about. But until then, guys, again, hug your loved ones. Tell them that you love them. In this time, you never know how far that can take somebody. So work hard, love your loved ones, and I will catch up with you guys later on. Great night, guys.